sports in Philadelphia last night. Sixers Joel Embiid and T-Wolves Karl Anthony Towns have both been handed 2-game suspensions by the NBA. Sportsnet 1 has a doubleheader underway now. The Heat are in Atlanta. That'll be followed by the Nuggets and Pelicans at 9:30. Denis Shapovalov, now a quarterfinalist at the Paris Masters. He defeated Sasha Zverev in 3 sets today to advance at the final Masters 1000 of the season. And we have the NFL Thursday Nighter upcoming from Arizona. The 3-4-1 Cardinals welcome the 7-0 49ers. Arizona is without running backs David Johnson and Chase Edmonds, as Kenyon Drake will be carrying the load in his season debut. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 News Time 718.
You deserve business-grade internet, so Rogers offers LTE wireless backup. A feature of Rogers Business Internet Pro Gigabit. Now $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Call 1-866-ROGERS-6.
You can make more. The excitement of their first day, to walking proudly across the graduation stage. School's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to better prepare kids for the future and the jobs of the future. So we're making updates with a focus on positive mental health, technology, skilled trades, and math, so our kids are prepared to succeed every step of the way. Learn how the government is supporting your child's educational journey at Ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
You deserve business-grade internet, so Rogers offers LTE wireless backup.
Fucking bicycles on them, I don't know why.
Pro Gigabit. Now $119.99 a month on a 3-year term. Call 1-866-ROGERS-6.
You can make more.
This is All News Radio 680 News. A divided U.S. House has approved a set of ground rules for the Trump impeachment inquiry.
It was the first formal chamber showdown in a probe that may stretch into next year on a package laying out how the impeachment proceedings will play out.
This is not any cause for any glee.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi says lawmakers have a duty to preserve the Constitution by looking into potential presidential wrongdoing, using a roadmap similar to ones in past impeachment proceedings. But Republicans like Tom Cole say the rules are skewed against the president, with the Democrats able to limit his lawyers from calling witnesses.
This is not a fair process, nor was it ever intended to be.
And says the public will see it as just another partisan exercise with a preordained outcome. Sagar Mangani, Washington.
Here's a scary story. A woman in Indiana found dead in a building home to more than 100 snakes.
Benton County, Indiana Sheriff Don Munson lives next door to another home he owns in Oxford. He uses that second home to house about 140 snakes. Authorities say Laura Hurst owns some of the snakes in that home. And Wednesday, Sheriff Munson says he found Hurst dead inside the home with a python wrapped around her neck. The 36-year-old Hurst had apparently been strangled by the snake. Munson told the Lafayette Journal and Courier the death was a tragic accident and he was being fully cooperative with everybody amid an investigation. Brian Clark, ABC News.
No, that's just nature. What's the tragic accident part?
As a homeowner, you have built up equity value in your home. With Capital Direct, equity equals flexibility for homeowners. Flexibility to finance your business, flexibility to renovate your home, or flexibility to pay off other things like property taxes. Call Capital Direct at 1-800-NEW-CAPITAL. .ca. 96% of existing Capital Direct's clients surveyed would recommend Capital Direct to family, friends, or colleagues.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about why
Yeah,
Halloween is so
fucking mall.
scary.
Halloween isn't scary. Winter's scary, especially when you're not prepared for it.
What can I do, Bill?
Get a Kubota tractor. At Coy Brothers, we can equip any Kubota tractor for our tough Canadian winters. Take the Kubota B2650, for example. We can hook you up with a heated cab, a 60-inch front blade, and a hydraulic salter.
Why buy a parka when you can pick a Kubota at Coy Brothers?
KOOYBROS.com.
And don't forget to bring your wallet.
680 News Time, 721.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. Serious issue continues on the eastbound 401 east to Guelph line. We have all 3 lanes affected with a crash. Traffic is getting by on the right shoulder, but it's involving several vehicles, a tractor trailer involved here as well. And so as you travel eastbound on the 401, it's backed up for more than 7 kilometers from approaching Guelph line to east of it. Within a volume across Toronto, still Dixon to Victoria Park Express and to Kennedy Collectors. And if you're traveling into Durham region, it is still busy from about the 412 over to Brock Street, improving quickly though on the eastbound side. The reason for that delay was a westbound collision west of
Brock Street that cleared. So the westbound 401 still quite heavy from Stevenson to about Brock Street. Now it's starting to improve towards the west end of that delay, but still really heavy. We've got volume past that point. Everything's eased off across Toronto into Mississauga. Still busy about here, Ontario to Mississauga Road. And then we have a really heavy backup because of this crash on the eastbound side. Slow on the westbound 401 approaching Highway 25 to approaching Guelph Line, where everybody's having a look at the eastbound collision. Leaving downtown, the westbound Garter, not bad. No major delays. It is slow on the westbound QEW from about Cawthra to Mississauga Road. And the westbound 403 in Mississauga is just about up to speed now. No major delays along that route. North DVP, the heaviest stretch is towards the top end, Eglinton up towards York Mills. We're getting a lot of heavy rain on this stretch. The DVP and the 404 being just pelted right now with a band of really heavy rain, so it's quite slow. And that same goes for the 401 heading in through Scarborough. Quite reduced visibility in this area as well. We have a collision reported off the highways in Vaughan. Traffic spotter letting me know Highway 27 north and southbound at Rutherford. The westbound lanes of Rutherford affected right at the intersection. Collision involving a transport and a couple of other vehicles. Emergency crews are on scene. Major delays at 27 in Rutherford. Almost 80% of drivers report that some, most, or even all of their tolls are offset through time and gas savings on 407 ETR. Your fast, safe, and reliable choice. Your next report at 7:31, and with the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
We'll see rain in the GTA tonight for anywhere between 30 to 50 millimeters of rain as a part of that special weather statement. Also included are those winds gusting up to 80 kilometers per hour. Any of that rain that's left over will transition over to light snow flurries during the overnight down to a low of +1. Tomorrow's high, 5 degrees. It will be very windy, but it's a cloudy start with some snow flurries and then a little bit of sun by the afternoon. Saturday's high, 6 degrees with cloudy conditions, and we'll have showers developing by the late morning and continuing through the afternoon. And then Sunday, another day with 6 degrees as our high and a mix of sun and cloud. Tonight's overnight low, +1.
Right now downtown, light rain and 12 degrees, light rain and 9 at Pearson.
Coming up the bottom of the hour, Halloween has arrived.
Halloween? What?
Special weather statement remains in effect.
Oh, what? Why are you making stupid jokes?
Canada, we are doing our best to keep the kitties safe. All that straight ahead.
French word I didn't fucking know.
7:24.
It's never been easier to buy Israel bonds. You can now buy Israel bonds online. Israel bonds are offered in U.S. and Canadian currencies with strong rates paying semi-annual fixed interest. Enhance, diversify, and grow your investment portfolio with Israel bonds. Israel bonds are sold in Canada by Canada Israel Securities Limited. For all rates and conditions, call us at 1-866-543-3351. To buy Israel bonds online, start at israelbonds.ca. It's never been easier.
When news breaks, the 680 News Cruiser is there, covering the story live from the scene.
24/7 in your community.
The 680 News Cruiser,
Powered by Don Valley North Toyota.
bringing you.
I just think it's only fair you get to see me finish it. I don't fall down flat on my face.
This portion
Then I'll
brought to you
click
by
in. I will.
Heathwood Homes. 4 new movies opening wide this weekend.
Is he very upset?
He said he'll be back, and he is. Again, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton reuniting for Terminator Dark Fate. And looking at a box office win, the 6th Terminator movie should finish first with around $40 million this weekend. 3 other movies opening wide, all expected to bring in under $10 million.
Frankly, Franco.
The Ed Norton crime drama Motherless Brooklyn, the Harriet Tubman story Harriet, and the animated animal adventure Arctic Dogs. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
And the Halloween market's next.
680 News Time, 7:25.
Hi, I'm Hugh Heron, president of Heathwood Homes. At Country Lane, we're excited to announce the release of the new Upcountry collection, Whitby's finest master plan community. These fabulous 26-foot detached homes are a great opportunity for new home buyers. Open concept main floors, gourmet kitchens, and fully finished lower levels with 9-foot ceilings. Priced from the mid-700s. Visit our sales office or register at Heathwood.com. At Heathwood, you will be home at last.
Well, Jack, it's just us big old pumpkins left on this muddy country lane.
You're no pumpkin. You're just a scrawny 2-pound gourd.
Well, Jack, we have the same squash DNA, you know.
Wait, is there a Subaru coming to pick us up?
It sure is. With standard symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive. Oh, what an adventure this'll be! You're finally gonna be a jack-o'-lantern, Jack.
And you're gonna be a bland side dish.
Adventure comes standard at your local Subaru dealer. Hurry in for lease and finance rates from 0.5%.
680 News Time, 7:26.
Here's the biz. Here's Richie.
Good evening. Grab your maple syrup and brace yourself for some big snacks because the International House of Pancakes says it's going to expand through the GTA. IHOP, as it's known, is planning to open 15 stores in the Greater Toronto area, the first to open by next summer. The new restaurants, the company says, will create 900 new jobs and contribute $15 million to the GTA construction industry. The company says Canada is a great spot to expand because of its geographic proximity to the United States. IHOP was founded
the United States. I want that shit here.
Who dreamt up the idea of a restaurant centered around pancakes, something which was completely novel at the time. It has just over 1,800 locations worldwide. All right, some more significant food news. McDonald's has been testing a meatless burger in the London, Ontario area. It's called the PLT for plant lettuce and tomato. It is a Beyond Meat patty. I actually had a chance to try it a few weeks ago. Very much tasting, I thought, like a quarter pounder. Analysts, though, at Bernstein today said the initial feedback has been positive, although it seems that the trial has not been a blowout success. According to Bernstein, it says it would not warrant a nationwide rollout, so we'll have to see what comes of that. Beyond Meat stock down 5% on the day, $84.45. TSX down 18 points today and was down 1% for the month of October, although Canada's main stock index remains up 15% on the year. Concerns about a wide-ranging U.S.-China trade deal dragged down the big board. The Dow fell 140, S&P down 9 points, the NASDAQ down 11. Apple stock, though, up 2.25% on solid earnings that came in yesterday. Facebook gained 1.8% today, up to $191 and change. Gold up $18, 1,514 U.S. dollars, and the Canadian dollar at 75.97 cents U.S. This is 680 News.
So how do you turn the Lazy Boy Moonlight Sale into a Moonlight Mega Sale? Well, when you think you can't cut prices anymore, you keep cutting. When you think the discount is big, you make it huge. That's when you've got yourself a Lazy Boy Moonlight Mega Sale. Check out Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries this weekend for door crashers, huge savings, and prices that are truly mad.
Just want to leave that from like you resting on a big pile of money and gold,
The madness at Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries ends Sunday.
The Royal Agricultural Winter Fair is back from November 1st to 10th at Toronto's Intercare Centre. Catch the country's best horse show, including the majestic RCMP musical ride and the Ontario Toyota Dealers Rodeo. Your kids will love the President's Choice Super Dogs almost as much as you. Feeling hungry? Take in a cooking class at the Burnbrae Farms Culinary Academy or sample goods in our Spotlight on Local, presented by Metro. It's time to get agriculture at the Royal. Tickets at royalfair.org.
If you're off to Vancouver, clear skies and a high of 10. Edmonton, chance of showers and flurries and a high of 4. In downtown Toronto, we have light rain. And it is 9 degrees at Pearson. Have a terrifying night. For Laura Carney, I'm James Monroe.
Let the cops catch me smoking a joint. By myself, with no ID.
News in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Asher Roth.
The big pile of
Good
money.
evening. This is Thursday, October 31st. Here's what's making news right now.
One of the best spots for Halloween in the city. Edgewood Avenue in full swing despite the spooky weather.
The results of a strike vote by more than 80,000 Ontario elementary teachers will be released tomorrow, but the ETFO says they're hoping to get a deal at the bargaining table.
From 190
If it's
acres
near here, I'm walking over there
a
trick-or-treating.
significantly reduced sidewalk labs gets the green light from Water from Toronto, but final approval won't come until next year. Some good news for Canada amid the chaos of the impeachment proceedings in Washington. House Democrats now signaling they could soon ratify the new NAFTA.
We have 2 in the NHL tonight, including the Canadiens in Vegas. The NFL Thursday nighter from Arizona as the Cardinals welcome the undefeated 49ers.
Okay, that's why I was familiar.
Nothing spooky about what Halloween does for Canada's economy. It's a billion-dollar industry. We're breaking down some of the interesting numbers. TSX gives investors a spook ending in the red. Business as usual.
680 News Time, 7:31.
It's time for traffic and weather together on the ones with Toronto's most frequent traffic reports. We say good evening and happy Halloween, Hal Hawking. Ooh, yes, good evening. It's a very spooky night on the roads, that's for sure. We had quite the rush hour this afternoon, very slow because of the rain. and everybody trying to get home for trick-or-treating. Now, not a whole lot left, but what there is left causing a major jam up in this eastbound 401 collision east to Guelph line. All 3 lanes affected with the crash. Traffic is able to get through on the right shoulder. It is jammed from approaching Guelph line to east of it. That's about a 7-kilometer backup that's been caused because of this crash.
Really?
We have all crews on scene here. If you wish to take an alternate, anyone you choose is fine. You can get off the highway. You can get off at Highway 6 and head down to Campbellville Side Road and use that to get across. If you've already passed Highway 6, you'll have to get off at Guelph Line and use the same detour. Campbellville Side Road moving fairly well, way better than the 401, that's for sure. If you're traveling further east, we still have volume delays across the city from about Weston Road, alternately express and collectors to Kennedy. And by the way, if you're heading into Scarborough and further into the Durham region now, this band of heavy rain is stretching out this way, and it is really pelting vehicles traveling along this stretch of the 401. We have westbound 401 delays west of Stevenson to about Brock Street, care of an earlier crash. Beyond that, you're through the worst of the volume, heading into some heavy rain through this area, though again, beyond that point, you will find this heavy delay through Milton towards that crash at Guelph Line. It's busy approaching Highway 25 to approaching Guelph Line. Leaving downtown, westbound Gardner in good shape. North DVP just seeing some rain delays as they travel up into the Markham area onto the 404, but that band of heavy rain is pushing to the east, so it's improving a little. IA Clarington, where they believe in the value of active management to navigate today's complex markets. Visit iaclarington.com.
You know how to bullshit with other people to lend you money.
With the forecast, here's Carl Lamb.
Light rain right now. It's Denise Andranci, by the way. Sorry. Light rain falling right now over at Pearson Airport. Now, the heavy rain, like Kyle mentioned, it is starting to track east and out of the GTA. That's the good news. There's still precipitation behind the heavy bands of rain. It just won't be as persistent. The winds, though, are starting to pick up. They're out of the south right now at Pearson, 35 kilometers an hour. But we've seen some southwesterly gusts through Hamilton up to 50, 60 kilometers an hour. And winds are going to continue to be a big factor here in the GTA well through the overnight, where we may even see temperatures fall enough that any precipitation that continues to linger could fall as some flurries for the city of Toronto. And by Friday morning, we could see a light dusting. Friday afternoon's highs only near 5 degrees. Average high this time of year is 10. It's 9 right now currently at Pearson. Your overnight low, +1.
680 news time at 7:34. Well, for many, it's the most wonderful time of the year. A happy Halloween to one and all, and to those
$500 million. As soon as I fucking end this, I should just leave this shit run 24/7. Every time I end it, that's like the watch clock never boils.
You don't think that's scary? Now, despite the damp conditions, the costumed crusaders have already taken to the streets, hoping to stuff their candy bags to the brim. 680's Michelle Mackey is mingling with the monsters, superheroes, and everything in between in the upper beaches, and joins us live with more. Michelle.
Yeah, it's hard to miss this tiny street called Edgewood Avenue in the upper beaches. There's a giant 20-foot jester at the entrance marking this year's theme of Mardi Gras. Now, despite the scary weather, trick-or-treaters did arrive by the dozen, but I think this heavy band of rain that's moved in has spooked a lot of them back home. But Laura Cochran, one of the organizers, says there was no way they would postpone this event.
There are 14 houses on our little street. We closed down the street for the night, rain or shine, and tonight is really putting us to the test.
6-year-old Ava dressed up as Mel from Descendants.
People are so lucky I don't have access to a child. I would drag them over to your fucking neighborhood and go around 18 times.
I respect the dedication, Ava. Now, trick-or-treaters and their parents were also able to donate to the Riverdale Collegiate Band to help fund their trip to Europe. As for my costume, I'm dressed up as a cold and drenched 680 News reporter at Edgewood Avenue. I'm Michelle Mackey.
We hope you dry off, Michelle. 680 News Time, 7:35. Now, while the wet weather hasn't stopped the fun, the cloudy conditions do make for darker streets, and with another morning that saw multiple people struck by vehicles, police are out with some advice to keep the kids safe. One of the most important reminders, stay seen.
If the kids' costumes aren't bright, you can attach some reflective tape or other material to make the trick-or-treaters more visible. For added safety, I know some kids may fight this, but you could have them carry flashlights.
Halton Police
Kids always want to play with the freaking flashlights.
One side of the street at a time, so don't zigzag from house to house. A U of T professor of medicine, Dr. Ronald Redelmeyer, also says he studied the numbers. He says kids are significantly more likely to be hit tonight than on any other night.
So that's about 4 extra deaths occur, all of which could be prevented by a small change of behavior.
He's also reminding parents racing home from work to get the kids out. Some children, they are already out and about, so drive carefully, especially on neighborhood roads.
Here with All News Radio 680 News at 7:36. We will soon learn the results of a strike vote by tens of thousands of elementary teachers here in Ontario. 680's Irene Prekla with the details.
Elementary Teachers Federation of Ontario President Sam Hammond says the union's goal is to reach an agreement at the central bargaining table without having to take job action. 83,000 members of the union have been taking strike votes across the province, and the results will be released tomorrow morning at 10:30. The teachers have been without a contract since the end of August. Some of the union's issues include class sizes and more support for students with special needs. I'm Irene Prekla.
680 News Time 7:37. It's a development that has pitted progress against personal privacy. Waterfront Toronto's board of directors has unanimously voted to keep the proposed Quayside development alive. 680's Momin Qureshi has more from City Hall.
This version of Quayside and Sidewalk Labs has been significantly scaled back in size from 190 acres down to just 12. There were also concerns over data collection and storage, which will now be controlled by the city. Therefore, he says these changes had to happen.
Our ability to move forward is possible thanks to Sidewalk listening to the concerns raised by residents and by staff and by everybody involved in this and agreeing to adjustments to their MIDP.
Toronto remains optimistic with what Quayside could become for the city.
This is our waterfront. We have to be careful with it, but I think we are moving forward to do something that is very exciting for the city.
A final decision will be made next year at City Hall. I'm Momin Qureshi.
680 News Time 7:38. Canada could get a win as politicians in Washington spar over impeachment proceedings against U.S. President Donald Trump. Democrats now saying they may soon be ready to ratify the new NAFTA. 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney with more.
As Democrats in the House of Representatives focus on impeachment, there have been fears that efforts for them to reach a NAFTA deal with the White House would be sidelined. But in a news conference after approving the ground rules for impeachment proceedings, Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she's optimistic the trade agreement will be ratified.
If we can come to terms, and I think we're close to doing, this will be a template for future trade agreements.
Canada has yet to ratify the new NAFTA, with the Prime Minister saying he'll move in lockstep with the U.S. The government would have to reintroduce legislation in the House of Commons since the previous bill died due to the election. Mexico has already given the deal the green light. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we will check your gas prices. 680 News Time, 7:39.
Did you know that pedestrian collisions go up by more than a third once the clocks turn back? Come on, people. The end of daylight saving time should not be the end of someone's life. Let's stop this. Stay alert, check your lights, pay special attention at crosswalks and intersections, and watch for pedestrians at all times. Keep your eyes on the road and your hands on the wheel. Pay attention before someone else dies. Learn more at toronto.ca/Vision Zero. That's toronto.ca/Vision Zero.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro predicting the price of gas is going to drop a cent at midnight to just under $1.19 a liter at most GTA stations. 680 News Time, 7:40.
Hey, thanks for picking me up. No problem. Least I can do for our captain. So, you pumped for the season? Yeah, I got 4-wheel drive in this Escape. I kind of meant when we hit the ice. Yeah, so did I.
I don't remember.
Make sure you're ready for the season in a Ford Escape. Right now, get 0% purchase financing for up to 72 months on all new 2019 Escape models. Plus, no extra charge winter tires, rims, and sensors. Get the SUV built to get you out there. Get your Escape today at your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
Thank you for calling Pizza Pizza. Yes, I'd like to make a reservation for 4. I'm happy to take your order, but you don't need a reservation. Excuse me? You want to try the new gourmet thins, right? How'd you know? This has been happening a lot lately. It's a 10-inch thin crust, perfectly sized for mine. Or get a few to share, like creamy truffle or pesto amore. And sir, no jacket required. What about a tie? New gourmet thins, $7.29 each. Call or order with the app for pickup or delivery only at Pizza Pizza.
967-1111 on a pizzapizza.ca.
680 News Time, 7:41. Traffic and weather together on the ones. Let's check in with Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by Flight Center. A couple of new issues on the 401 and one that's cleared. The one that cleared is the big one, eastbound 401 east to Guelph line. All lanes have just reopened in this area, but it is really heavy still as you approach the area. From approaching Guelph line to east of it, to be more specific, that's about a 7.5 kilometer backup that was caused because of this crash. But all lanes are open now, so we'll start to ease slowly but surely. We've got now problems on the eastbound 401 approaching Dufferin in the express. Looks like the right lane blocked for the collision involving a transport truck. Heading across the city through this area west into Victoria Park Express into Kennedy and the collectors without much of a break along the way. Westbound 401 still busy, fixed into about Brock Street, and now there are new problems west of White's in the collectors. Two right lanes blocked for the crash here. All crews are on scene, and it's starting to back things up in this area, but it's not too bad. And you'll then find a heavy delay approaching from Highway 25 to approaching Guelph line, seen in those former eastbound problems that are clear, so that westbound delay should start to ease. The rest of the highway is not doing too badly. Seeing a minor delay on the eastbound Gardner rather through that construction zone, York over to Cherry, but that's easing. Watch out for ponding and pooling on the rest of our highways. No other delays, no other major delays not mentioned, but seeing spotty showers, of course, across the city. So we are seeing, volume delays pop up here and there because of the weather. Make sure your headlights are on and just adjust your driving accordingly. Live your adventure in a galaxy far, far away at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, now open at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Visit flightcenter.ca/Disney today. Your next report at 7:51, and with the forecast, here's Denise Andriacci.
Yeah, some of that steady rain sort of tapering off to showers, but the winds are really starting to pick up now. So it's a good time to maybe gather some of that Halloween decor outside and bring it in, because we are expecting winds to get really strong in the next couple of hours, especially after midnight, up to 80-kilometer-per-hour gusts here in the city. Hamilton, Niagara, parts of southwestern Ontario could see gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. So this is just on the higher and higher. The system that has brought us steady, consistent, and just dreary rain the last couple of days. It's mostly cloudy now at Pearson and 9 degrees. Overnight tonight, your lows near +1.
That's how I know they're controlling it. They just tell you it's going to go like this. No, we're going to
43. Quebec Premier Francois Legault is pushing back against mounting criticism against his government's secularism bill. Councillors here in Toronto became the latest to condemn the Quebec government's Bill 21 in a motion that passed yesterday. Legault says he's not happy with the city's motion, which follows similar calls to action from Calgary, Winnipeg, and Mississauga. Bill 21, which prohibits public servants deemed to be in positions of authority, such as teachers, judges, and police officers, from wearing religious symbols. That bill came into effect back in June. Your top stories in sports coming up. 680 News Time 744.
Hi, I'm Jean Nader. For over 50 years, Georgian Renovations has been designing spaces you'll love. Jean Nader, the company's president, wants me to pass on a special offer to you. Jean wants people to rethink their home renovation. Georgian fixed price guarantee reinvents how people renovate. For a limited time, Georgian Renovations is offering their interior design services for the incredible value of $5,000. Great reasons to rethink your renovation. Book a complimentary design consultation today at GeorgianReno.com.
You could try to try
Park and Fly, the easiest and quickest way to park by the airport. Just pull up, check in, and go. You never have to worry about finding a parking spot. It's a real thing of beauty for travelers. Quick and easy, an all-time great combo. Just like rest and relaxation, peanut butter and jam, and socks and sandals. It's like my feet are inside and outside. Valet by Park and Fly. It's the easiest and quickest way to park happy. Plus, get an optional oil change or detailing while you're away. Visit parkandfly.ca for details.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. Some light rain. It is 12 degrees, feeling just a bit cooler thanks to the wind. Good evening and happy Halloween from the 680 News Broadcast Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Asher Roth. Here are the top stories this hour. Double toil and trouble, fire, burn, and cauldron.
Whoa, hold on.
The case if that cauldron's under a tarp. Wet weather's making things a little more unpleasant than usual for the costume kids and their parents. parents and guardians on this Halloween 2019, and the rain isn't expected to let up anytime soon. The winds
white people weren't saying things like that when they had that cross on.
After several days of rolling strike votes across the province, we'll soon find out whether Ontario's 83,000 elementary school teachers who've been without a deal since August plan to strike or not.
Why doesn't the deal end at the end of school year? Why do they get the whole summer to fucking just stew on shit? Get the whole summer off, then they want to fucking come to the negotiating table.
Coming up in health and lifestyle news,
fucking wonder they don't want to fucking sign them.
Stop another from damaging your liver. But first, it's time for 680 Sports, and from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, good evening, Ben Lewis.
Good evening, Asher, and it is a fairly quiet Halloween night in the NHL. Just 2 games in about 15 minutes. The Calgary Flames will get underway with the Predators. Nashville on a 4-game winning streak, and Sportsnet will have the game for you at 8 o'clock. Montreal on the tail end of a back-to-back. They visit the Golden Knights at 10. The Maple Leafs are returning to the ice Saturday in Philadelphia. Toronto's dropped 6 of their last 10. Sportsnet's Brian Burke says the team has had to navigate a challenging schedule this month.
When their schedule came out, I said right away they're going to have a tough first month. And to their credit, Mike Babcock has not used the schedule as an excuse not once, but look at the opponents they drew early on and the back-to-backs and everything else. I predicted a rough start.
And the Leafs 6-5-3 on the season. After throwing down in Philly last night, Sixers Joel Embiid and T-Wolves Karl Anthony Towns both handed 2-game suspensions by the NBA today. Sportsnet 1 carrying a doubleheader happening now. The Heat lead the Hawks 30-26. That'll be followed by the Nuggets and Pelicans at 9:30. We have the NFL Thursday Nighter from Arizona. The 3-4-1 Cardinals host the 7-0 49ers. And Denis Shapovalov is into the quarterfinals of the Paris Masters. He defeated Sasha Zverev in 3 sets. Sports at 15:45 past every hour or anytime on the home of Tim and Sid on radio and TV. Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
680 news time is 7:48.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and truck donations.
Julie? Hi, I'm Max.
Are you the pizza guy?
Me? No, I'm a professional dream coach. Say, how would your Friday night change if you won Friday's Lotto Max jackpot of an estimated $10 million?
I plan a little getaway.
Little?
Okay, a huge getaway. I'll travel the world, learning dances like the samba, the can-can, oh, even break dancing.
Yes, the world is your dance floor. Friday's Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $10 million. With draws Tuesdays and Fridays, you can dream to the max.
680 news time at 7:49.
This health report is brought to you by Cold Drops.
One drop for temporary relief of sore throat and nasal congestion. Cold Drops are available at Metro pharmacies near you. This product may not be right for you. Always read and follow the label.
Do you feel ashamed by the calorie label on your favorite snack? Well, it turns out you're not alone. Studies show that forcing restaurants to put calorie labels on their menus can slash the amount of calories that customers consume. Harvard University scientists have now found people consume 60 fewer calories at chains with the calorie labels on their menus. It's not all good news, though. Some researchers have warned that mandatory labeling may cause restaurants to cram their dishes with salt or sugar to bring down the calories but maintain the flavor.
It's not per
Binge
2 or 3
drinkers
cookies.
may be protected from potentially deadly liver diseases if they also smoke marijuana. Heavy drinkers who smoked cannabis had significantly lower odds of developing serious issues with their liver, including a common form of cancer. Cannabis has been found to have anti-inflammatory properties. However, scientists at a medical center in Massachusetts say they are not currently sure why it's beneficial for the liver to combine cannabis with alcohol. They have called for further trials. Coming up in 60 seconds, a check of the roads in your extended forecast.
680 news time, 7:50.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery is over 80% sold. Don't miss the incredible $6 million grand prize. An Oakville show home designed by Brian Gluckstein, a Range Rover, and $1 million cash. Homes, cottages, condos, vacations, and so much more. It's one big prize after another. Support one of the top 5 cancer research
centers in the world. Over 80% sold. Order your Princess Margaret tickets today. Your garage is full of stuff, and stuff is just another name for junk. 1-800-GOT-JUNK can be there in just 90 minutes, and we work until midnight, 7 days a week. Now get out your pointing finger, use it to dial the phone, and park tonight in a clean garage. We've cleaned lots of garages for just $199. A really big, really messy garage might be $100 or $200 more, but that's a cheap price to pay for a clean garage. Goodbye, junk. Or contact us through our website, 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Time 7:51.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by Shoppers Drug Mart. If you're traveling the highways right now, the main concern is the rain that's falling in areas. So just adjust your driving accordingly. You've seen a couple of collisions take place in the last few minutes with heavy bands of rain that have gone over. So on the westbound 401, we now have this collision west of White's in the collectors. 2 right lanes are blocked with a crash. Crews are on scene. Only a minor delay through here. And then a new collision westbound 401 at Morningside on the transfer into the collectors. On that transfer, the left lane is blocked with another collision. Crews on the scene, and again, a minor delay in this area. On West 401, delays still from west of Highway 25 to approaching Guelph Line. There was an eastbound 401 problem at east of Guelph Line, and that's what caused the westbound delay. That eastbound problem is now cleared. You're still looking at eastbound delays from approaching Guelph Line to east of it. It's about 9 kilometers now worth of slow traffic traveling through this area, but all lanes are open. It's just the volume delay easing off. We have an eastbound 401 problem approaching Dufferin in the express. Right lane is blocked with a collision here involving a transport truck. And one of the vehicles, it looks like the transport itself, in fact, is just leaving that scene now. So this is a good sign. Heavy Keel Express and collectors to approaching Dufferin. Beyond that, it's slow again from the Allen Express, Bayview collectors to Leslie, and from the DVP to Victoria Park Express and the Kennedy collectors. In Tottenham, we still have Highway 9 closed between 10th Side Road and 12th Concession for a crash, and also in Vaughan, Highway 27 in Rutherford. Heavy delays at that intersection, a crash right in the middle of it. Got PC Optimum points? Get ready to redeem them. It's the bonus redemption event at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get more for your points November 1st to 3rd. Your next report at 8:01, and with the extended forecast, here's Denise Andriachi.
Well, still some active weather to contend with. Yes, the heaviest rain has moved on, but we'll still be dealing with a few scattered showers here and there the rest of tonight and overnight. And behind the system, the wind's just really revving up in the next couple of hours. And after midnight, we are expecting gusts up to 80 kilometers an hour here in the GTA. We're sitting at 9 degrees now, but temps will steadily fall after midnight. And early Friday morning, we could see some flurries as we fall to lows near +1. Friday's highs only near 5 degrees. That's an afternoon high, and average this time of year is 10. Partly cloudy Friday night and lows near 0. There is a chance of showers Saturday, highs only near 6 degrees. The trend is for the next several days below seasonal average highs. It's mostly cloudy and 9 degrees right now at Pearson Airport overnight tonight. Rain still heavy at times and 1 degree.
From finger painting to times tables, school's the start of a journey that can take kids anywhere. Our education system needs to evolve to reflect this journey, to prepare kids for the future, their future. So we're updating it to give kids the tools they need to support positive mental health, develop real-life skills, and prepare for what's next, so they're ready to rise to every test, during school and after. Learn how the government is improving your child's educational journey at ontario.ca/education for tomorrow. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Coming up at 8 o'clock, we'll catch up with 680's Michelle Mackey, who's talking to trick-or-treaters in the Upper Beaches.
680 News Time, 7:54.
680news.com, your #1 source for breaking news, traffic, and weather.
Free, updated, and there when you need it.
Keeping you connected. This is 680news.com.
Well, not to bum you out on this Halloween, but police in Orangeville are investigating reports of a sewing needle that was found in a box of Halloween candy. A woman reported finding the small syringe in a box of Smarties that she received from a downtown business during the Harvest Festival on October the 19th. Police are reminding you to thoroughly check all candy that your kids receive tonight. And it may be Halloween, but one Toronto mall is already thinking about Christmas. The Eaton Centre has announced it will once again be home to the tallest Christmas tree in Canada. The mall will erect the 108-foot tree 2 weeks from today on November the 14th. The official reveal and lighting ceremony will get underway at 6:30 p.m. In 60 seconds, we'll check in with Richard Southern.
680 News Time, 7:55.
Everyone's talking about the hit musical sensation Come From Away. It's a true story. Thousands of people stranded in a small town in Newfoundland on 9/11. And the locals, they opened up their homes. What happened that week, the kindness, the resilience, the joy, reminds us all what it is to be human. Come From Away, now playing at Toronto's Elgin Theatre. Get tickets at Mervish.com.
Announcing something worth announcing. Our annual Panasonic show is happening this Friday and Saturday at Bay Bluer Radio.
New professional edition 4K OLED TVs. New Techniques reference class turntables.
Panasonic factory reps will be there with exciting new technology.
And we'll be there with Black Friday pricing on what you want to buy right now.
There's only one Bay Bluer Radio. The right sound for the right price.
680 News Time, 7:56. It's time for the 680 News Business Report, brought to you by Express Gold Refining XAU Day.
Good evening. One of Canada's biggest energy companies, and a firm that's almost as old as Canada itself, is packing its bags and leaving for the States. Encana announced plans to move its headquarters stateside, and says as well,
almost as old as Canada.
To Canada in its name. It's going to rebrand as Ovintiv. The reason for Encana's move, it says, is so we'll have more access to capital in the States. But the bigger picture is that a number of oil sands firms are abandoning Canada, the result of a lack of pipeline space, which has made it hard to grow. Canada can trace its roots back to the 1880s and the building of the Canadian Pacific Railway. Sir John A. Macdonald granted CPR drilling rights along the railway. They struck gas in southern Alberta. They spun off companies, they merged, and that was really how Encana was born. Greg Taylor with Purpose Investments.
Hopefully we could be a contrarian and say this is the bottom for the sector, but when they're basically saying that they're giving up on finding investors here and someone looks out to the border where they can find new investors, I don't know what that says about active management in Canada or faith in the Canadian energy sector, but it doesn't say anything good.
Encana stock falling 6.6% today. It's down 34% on the year. The TSX fell 18 points and it was down 1% in the month of October. The Dow down 140 points today, S&P down 9, and the NASDAQ down 11. Concern about U.S.-China trade and more evidence of a slowdown in U.S. manufacturing did the damage. BCE reported strong wireless subscriber growth and some solid financial results for its third quarter. It didn't help the stock, though. It fell 26 cents to $62.48 per share. Big downturn for Pinterest in the after-hours trade. It reported an earnings miss, a larger than expected loss, and the stock fell as much as 20%. Gold jumping more than $18, $1,514 US dollars. Canadian dollar at 75.93 cents US. This is 680 News.
What's taking up space in your office? Printers, servers, old monitors, and desktops? Recycle Electronics has a dedicated and free
telegraph
service for e-waste just for businesses. We certify destruction and provide a comprehensive tracking process, so you can feel confident and secure while keeping sustainability front and center. Schedule a pickup today by calling 1-833-NO-E-WASTE. That's 1-833-NO-E-WASTE. Or visit recyclemyelectronics.ca. The future is in your hands. Don't let it go to waste.
Find a car today, a much better way. Visit OntarioCars.ca.
Now, see here, I know you're an expert on buying a car and all, and I appreciate that, I really do. But don't you suppose that maybe, just maybe, everybody could use a little help like Jerry here?
Well, she told me it was easy. I went to OntarioCars.ca, don't you know, I fell in love with the beauty.
See, look up OntarioCars.ca to find sellers you can trust. Don't worry, you'll do just fine.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Walmart.
With Walmart's guaranteed unbeatable low prices, an 18-pack of Grey Ridge eggs is now only $2.77. Walmart can save money.
$100. You can just sell it for $1.
Right now in Aurora, some rain and 9 degrees. Caledon overcast and 7. And in downtown Toronto, at this moment, it is overcast and 12 degrees. This is CFTR 680 News at 8 o'clock.
For breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Asher Roth.
0, 0, 0, 0.
Thursday, October 31st.
And good evening. Here's what's making news right now.
The weather outside is frightful, but Edgewood Avenue is delightful. The famous trick-or-treating hotspot still expecting plenty of kids.
I've never heard of it
on this
before.
Halloween night.
A significantly smaller version of Sidewalk Labs with changed up privacy policies gets the approval of Waterfront Toronto. But the final thumbs up won't come until next year. The U.S. may be inching closer to ratifying the new NAFTA, even as politicians in Washington set the ground rules for the impeachment proceedings against the president.
Happening tomorrow morning, we'll find out the result of a strike vote by Ontario's elementary teachers.
The NFL's Thursday Nighter will kick off from Arizona as the Cardinals take on the undefeated 49ers. Calgary skating into Nashville to face the Predators. Sports at 15.
Getting out of Dodge, one of Canada's oldest companies, is packing its bags and heading for the States. TSX falls 18 points, closing out a losing month of October. Business details at 26.
680 News Time, 8:01. Traffic and weather together on the ones at the traffic center. Kyle Honger.
This report brought to you by Central. Most of our issues are contained in the 401 right now. Eastbound 401 still busy through Guelph line for several kilometers worth of slow traffic. It's improving, though. This is after earlier problems. We had issues approaching Dufferin in the Express, and they have cleared. Delays through this area are gone, too. It does get busy from Avenue Road Express and east of Bayview in the Collectors to Leslie. Then a bit slow Warden to east of Kennedy in the Collectors. Two problems on the westbound 401, neither causing any major delays, but West 401 west of White's in the Collectors. Two right lanes are blocked for the crash. Minor delay there. And then on the transfer into the Collectors at Morningside, the left lane is blocked with another crash and just a minor delay. No problems anywhere else, but be aware ponding and pooling, it can come up on you quickly, so just adjust your driving according to those weather conditions. In Vaughan, westbound on Rutherford at Highway 27, we have lanes blocked because of a collision involving a transport truck. Very heavy from approaching Napa Valley over to Highway 27. Located within Toronto's tech hub featuring high-tech residential amenities, Central is the latest tech development by Concord. Register now at centraltoronto.com. Your next report at 8:11, and with the forecast, here's Denise Andriacci.
Well, it's overcast downtown. We're sitting at 12 degrees. That's our guaranteed high for the day. It took a while to get there, but we're there, and that's because we're seeing winds now out of the south-southwest. They're quite gusty. They're going to continue to stay strong, get even stronger through the overnight, and this is why our temperatures are a little milder right now than they were, let's say, a few hours ago. But then they're going to shift again, those winds, and it's going to bring our temperatures way down. Early Friday morning, expecting lows near about +1. This means any precipitation that's still lingering could fall as some flurries. It's mostly cloudy now and 9 degrees at Pearson Airport. Overnight, still the chance of rain and lows near 1.
680 News Time, 8:03. Ooh, that chill in the air might be sending a chill down your spine. Welcome to Halloween night and the monstrous weather not dampening the spirits in the beach neighborhood. And that's where we find our Michelle Mackey among the spectacular sights on Edgewood Avenue, and she joins us live with the spooky details. Michelle.
After that song gets me every time. Now, I can confirm it is cold, it is wet, and it is windy out here in the upper beaches on Edgewood Avenue.
That's why I'm not
an 8-year-old came in